Welcome back YouTube. In today's video we will be talking about the buffer state and what is buffer state and what kind of purpose they serve, and these buffer states differences from many other kinds. We will be talking about their historical importance and historical examples of this buffer state. Now, first of all, let's start with what is buffer state. Buffer state means a state between a country and a country, basically. As you can see here, there is a Azerbaijan and Armenian states and Georgian states around here. As you can see here, there is Georgians, Armenians, and Azerbaijanis, and their states between Khazars and Byzantine. As you can see, without Khazars conquering these places, they can't actually go and direct attack Byzantine Empire. Now, there can be a skirmish or a war between Byzantine Empire and Khazar Empire in this land, being church, as they said. And however, for Khazars to gain an access to Anatolia or Pontus, these lands count as Pontus in this current Kingdom of Pontus. They count as Kingdom of Pontus in here. But to Khazars to get in and attack this empire, they need to first take down Georgians or just generally these places. For Khazars to attack Abbasids or any kind of other place like Marwanid Emirate, they need to first conquer these places. These places serve as buffer states, basically protection from a higher power or two higher power having a state between them, a lesser state between them, that causes them to not actually go into war. And these buffer states causes a certain amount of era of peace between two countries, not specific time of peace, but rather peace between two countries. There are many historical examples to these buffer states. One of them being the most probably famous of them, Poland. As you probably know, there was something called World War II. In World War II, Germany and Russia, being Soviet Socialist Republic, let's say, and Germany, Nazi Germany, had between basically Poland, being Danzig and these places, basically, that from this river to around somewhere here. And Poland kind of served as a buffer state between Germany and Soviets. This buffer state role was very good for a very certain amount of time, and Germany actually was protected from Russia. Let's continue saying with Russia, and protected from Russia, and they benefited from this a lot for a very long time. However, until Nazis changed the direction and wanted to attack the Soviets, they first needed to go through Poland, and Soviets attacked from the behind and Nazis attacked from the left, and the buffer state Poland got basically wrecked to the ground. A lot of bad things happened in Poland, being basically genocides and many other horrible things that could happen. And basically Poland's buffer state lasted as, if I remember correctly, 10 years. I'm not sure about the year, but a very long time, and it served as basically a shield against Soviets. And this still kind of continues on Poland's case. As you know, the current Russia has Belarus and Ukraine, and after Belarus and Ukraine there is Poland, and Poland kind of serves as the first shield to the European Union, not just Germany in today's standard, and it serves more as a shield, for the first shield to European Union's biggest, biggest countries, yeah, that being Germany, French, and Netherlands, Belgium. Generally just protects the western countries in Europe from basically Russia, and it kind of serves as a buffer state even today. But the difference from history to today is that they are more and much more militaristically ready for a war than they weren't even ready for a war in World War II. So that's the kind of logic behind buffer states. Buffer states protects, or not protects, but rather creates a situation that they exist between two countries, and these two countries that has bad relationship or has some kind of overlapping ambitions don't tend to go into war with each other. And because of this, buffer states are actually generally created in modern day because they want to certain countries to not either touch where you are, and like you don't want them to come to the region that you are in. There are couple of examples to this, like Afghanistan. Afghanistan was a buffer state between English, India, and Russia, Imperial Russia, in the 1800s. And Afghanistan served as a buffer state between the English, India, and basically Russia, and this kind of created to, if I remember correctly, these mountains should be the place, yes, the current, in the place that there is currently the walls, there was Imperial Russian state, and from here you can actually go down and basically gain an access to Indian region, and to not have a war with Russia and still protect India. Afghanistan was kind of created as a buffer state. And one more example of this is Thailand, or Siam, in the timeline that we are speaking on. In Thailand, or Siam as in this case, was around here, if I remember correctly. Thailand, yes, and it was between English Burma being this place. As you can see, the Khagan state there is actually could be pretty much Burma actually. And if we say the anchor in here is French Indochina, French Indochina was around here, and Burma was around here, and Siam was between these two, creating a buffer state. Buffer state serves as this shield against someone, but in generally speaking, that they are in between countries. To be buffer state, you need to be in between two countries, and these two countries generally needs to be not better states, but more like have a better military than you have, and be much more ambitious and aggressive than you are. So by creating a buffer state, they tend to avoid conflicts that normally they need to go into. And this actually is very useful for the local population of the buffer state, because this buffer state kind of happens, if we don't count the Poland situation in World War II, we count the other situations, they tend to happen between imperial powers. And by needing a buffer state, there is actually a local population having their own state with their own government, and kind of benefiting from this by a very big margin, and not be ruled by basically people who would basically do anything there is to do, being selling you to slavery, making you work for things that you didn't really want to work for, and other kind of things. As there are good sides to be a buffer state, there are very bad sides of being a buffer state. That is being the Poland basically situation. If once imperial power decides that they need to eradicate the other or attack, they need to have a conflict with the other imperial power, they tend to destroy the buffer state in the process and do very bad things to the local population of the buffer state. Now, generally speaking, the buffer states, even though they have a local population that rule, the local population benefits from this, tend to not have a good thing going on. You know, the state that is going on isn't that good because there's constantly a tension, and the buffer state's purpose, the entire existence, the entire purpose of its existence is to keep this tension in check and basically prevent this tension to evolve into a conflict. And how much can you do this? Like, you can do this maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, but after some time it generally starts to take its toll from both the state itself and the government itself and the local population. Like, everyone gets affected by this. So even though local population gets their own state, it's tend to be not that good of a thing eventually, because eventually it does. Well, now that I think about it, I don't remember being a war around this area between English and French, but generally speaking, that it isn't that much of a good thing for the local population and the local state, but it's better than being under imperial state, being French and English at the time. Buffer states was this much. This isn't going to be a long video. This is a very fast, very good explanation, I think, of what buffer state is and how they operate and how they tend to exist and how they create a political situation between certain imperial powers. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys subscribe and click the notification bells. Have a good day.